One thing every successful individual, leader, and entrepreneur have in common is a consistent morning routine. Having a simple, easy to implement routine enables you to start your day with a sense of purpose, accomplishment, clarity, and direction. For this reason, I have prepared for you a free guide with an easy to follow 5 minutes morning routine and a tracking template where you can document your progress day by day. I've been receiving messages from some of you already telling me how this habit has transformed your days for the better. Download this 5 minutes morning routine right now by clicking the link on my show notes so you can start your day on purpose. Welcome to the With Clarity and Purpose podcast with your host, Janet Borrego. Each week, I bring you an inspiring person or message to empower you to live life on your terms so you can be who you want to be, do what you are meant to do, and have the life you deserve to have. We will provide you with practical and cutting-edge approaches to continue getting clarity and direction on your path, mastering your mindset, and gaining confidence to tap into your inner wisdom so you can live on purpose. I hope you're having an amazing Wednesday. We are actually getting ready to go on vacation to Puerto Rico, and I'm beyond excited. I lived 12 years in Puerto Rico after living in Mexico City. I'm originally from Cuba, if you don't know me well, of course. And then from Cuba, we moved to Mexico City and then Puerto Rico. And we lived there for 12 years. I finished high school there. I finished college there, chemical engineering, and then I was recruited by a big oil and gas company to work here in Houston, Texas, and that was 10 years ago. So I haven't been back in Puerto Rico since 2018 when I was recruiting engineers for that big oil and gas company. So I'm just excited to see my high school friends, to enjoy the Caribbean vibes and the music. I think it's gonna be amazing. And Cody, my husband, he hasn't been there except he went there once because he was in a cruise, but I joke with him. I don't think it's a joke, but one day in a cruise is not the same as 1 week. So I'm beyond excited. We are going there for 1 week and 2 days. And literally, I'm recording these podcast episodes before we leave to the airport. I want to make sure that while I'm on vacation, you have amazing content to be more empowered, to live a more peaceful and happy life overall. And today's podcast episode is going to help you exactly live that way, because I've been wanting to record a podcast episode about this topic for a long time. And every time I shower or every time I'm walking, I'm just thinking of this content and how relevant it is. The topic for today's podcast episode is all about feeling jealousy and envy in regard to other people's success, other people's accomplishments, and what to do when you are feeling that way. And for me, it's really important at the highest level, when you're feeling that way, to recognize that you're jealous, or maybe you're feeling that envy because that's exactly what you want. I remember when I transitioned from my full-time corporate career to full-time entrepreneurship, I was getting more active in social media, and I was going through stories, Instagram, and I started seeing all these coaches with 25,000 followers, 500,000 followers, 1 million followers. And I'm like, wow, I want to be that. But my first response was not to bless that they were at that level, even though they had less experience than me. my first response was to feel this kind of jealousy because they had something that I didn't have, and that's something that I wanted, right? Like to be able to reach and impact more and more people. And I started realizing that this feeling of jealousy and envy, that by the way, I felt it too when I was in corporate because I'm a human being. I think we all at some level experience this, and part of the human growth, the human evolution and development is to start blessing other people's accomplishments, start blessing other people's success, because sometimes people may make it look easy, like they have gotten there, but it doesn't matter what the accomplishment is, what the success is. If they are there, it's because they have put a lot of work behind the scenes. I love this quote from the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People that says, private victories precede public victories. There is so much that goes in the background. There is so much that goes behind the scene for you and the rest of the people to get to where they are and where they have been. So I think it's also important to bring that perspective that they probably have worked really hard to achieve that, really hard to have that vacation. So I think it's really important to start blessing others' accomplishments. And I'm gonna give you 3 specific reasons of why. And if you're listening at this podcast, even with the examples that I'm giving, you may feel identified because, again, every time someone achieves something that you want, or every time you're around people that they are doing amazing, you start kind of questioning yourself, am I at that level? But you being with those people is actually a good indication because it's allowing you to getting closer to that level which you desire. So let's talk about the 3 reasons why we all should bless everyone's accomplishments, everyone's success. The first one is, blessing others' accomplishments, it shifts your mindset from scarcity to abundance. When you feel jealousy or envy, it often comes from a belief that there is only a limited amount of resources or success to go around, which is not true at all. That's why in this podcast, if you have been following this podcast for a while, I brought so many coaches in this podcast, and I'm a coach myself, and I brought mindset, business, career coaches because it is important for me to provide you with the resources, to provide you with the stories, to provide you with the people, because I trust you can make the best decision for yourself. If you resonate with me and with my style and my teachings and my testimonials and my clients, you can decide to work with me. But maybe you resonate with another coach that I've invited to the podcast. And I'm totally in peace with that because it doesn't matter how much I try to alienate other people, which I'm not about that at all. By alienating other people and by not inviting people like me, coaches, to the podcast, to me, it's kind of also limiting your potential and limiting the resources and the options that you have. So it's really transitioning from this scarcity mindset that naturally our ancient brain is gonna kick into the scarcity mindset because it's seeking us to protect us. And in the ancient times, we had to hunt to get food. So food wasn't as abundant as it is today. And even though we are not in the ancient times anymore, we still need to work on reprogramming that scarcity mindset that so many times we feel wired to think that way. So this belief that there are limited amount of success and resources is not true at all. There is pie for everyone. There are resources for everyone. And the more you start thinking that way, the more you start noticing the opportunities. The more you focus on the limitations and in the scarcity, the more you see and experience what you're focusing on, which is that scarcity. So blessing others' accomplishments helps you see that there is abundance everywhere you go. And not only that, there is good things in life, and that someone else's successes, they do not take away from your own. Let me repeat that. Someone else's success does not take away from your own. You can be successful. The people around you can be successful. Everyone in social media can be successful. The cool thing about this word of success is that you get to define your own success. Because sometimes we may be in situations where we are scrolling in social media and we are like, okay, I want to go to that trip. I want 2 million followers. I want a 1 million revenue in my business, like all of these things. And it is important for you to ask the question, is that what success is to me? Because sometimes we may form an illusion of what success is, but do you really want that? And if you want that, are you willing to give up what you need to give up in order to get there? For example, in my business, and I always say this, I don't see myself for now, okay, and this is my vision, I don't see myself having a team of 100 people. Not at all. I want a relatively small business where maybe I have in the future 10, max 15 or 20 employees, and that's it. Like for me, I don't want to have 100 employees or become a huge corporation, and that's okay for me, for my success. A big part of what is going to help you also in this journey of self-development is defining what success means to you and being courageous enough to differentiate success for other people versus success for you. The success that you're expected to have versus the success that you decide to have. That's such a huge point in this journey of comparing ourselves to everyone else, because so many times these comparisons, they are not even realistic for what we want. These comparisons, so many times, they are not even aligned to our values. They are not even aligned to our goals. So it's just a kind of a mindset shift for you to tune inward more. Like meditate, journal about what success means to you. Meditate about what success means to you. Because I think it is important in life to have this intersection of success and fulfillment. That's the sweet point. When we are successful at what we do because we love it so much and we want to give back while prioritizing ourselves, because it's also a balance of giving and receiving. So what does success means to you? That's the most important question, my friend. When you start living your truth, you start honoring other people's truths because you don't feel the need to compare anymore. You realize that each one of us, we are living in our authentic truths. We are living the lives we have decided to live, consciously or unconsciously. And of course, part of this content in this podcast and part of the whole purpose of me talking about this topic is for you to make the unconscious, because that's the way that you start creating new patterns and new empowering behaviors. When you start realizing, judging, comparing, envy, and jealousy, they are not adding anything positive, anything constructive to my life. What am I gonna do, right? Once you realize that, it is important to start creating new pattern. And this new pattern that I'm guiding you to create is whenever you start feeling that envy and jealousy, remember first to be compassionate towards yourself, to be kind, to recognize that there are no bad feelings, there are no bad parts of you, but rather is just an instant reaction from your ancient brain. And that is okay. And just having that full acceptance and full surrender of what you're experiencing, being compassionate towards yourself. And once you do that, then you're ready to shift the mindset to abundance and just start blessing that other person's accomplishment and success. Because the second reason why you should do this is that actually that person is giving you evidence that you can also do it. You can also achieve that success and that accomplishment. The fact that you're noticing that person or you're noticing that trip or that success is because it is in your awareness. And that is an amazing thing, because if you understand our brain and our mind, we don't notice every single thing that is around us. We notice the thing or the programming that we instruct our brain to notice. So the fact that you are observing someone else's successes means that you're focusing on what you want. And you gotta celebrate that, because the more you focus on what you want, the more you start seeing people achieving what you want, it means that that thing is getting closer to you. Because if not, you wouldn't notice that at all. You would be distracted noticing other things. So let me repeat that. The fact that you keep noticing what you want, but instead other people are achieving that success or that accomplishment, it means that that thing is moving closer to your awareness, which means that you're getting closer and closer and closer to getting that which you're wanting and you're desiring. It's basically the concept of when you surround yourself by people that are smarter, more assertive than you, then you'll start actually absorbing those qualities and you'll start becoming that. If you surround yourself with people that are fitter than you, then you start becoming that, right? By the nature of the absorption of energies, behaviors, and everything else, because your environment does carry a big weight in terms of how you feel and the behaviors that you're adopting. So again, when you see someone that is having the thing that you want to have, bless that person's accomplishment, because it means that that accomplishment is moving closer and closer and closer to your reality, until guess what? One day you're gonna have it. It's a matter of time. I always say it's not a matter of if it's gonna happen, it's a matter of when. This could also open the door for future collaborations, for future mentorship and support. I have had a couple of people that have reached out to me via Instagram and LinkedIn, letting me know that they want to be coaches and asking for 30 minutes of my time to know I was able to transition from my corporate career to coaching, or to know how I've been able to gain clarity on my purpose. And I do take the time to do that, because I know sometimes how hard it is to connect with those people that have gone through the path. So it's always an opportunity to collaborate, to learn from others, and to get that mentorship that you're looking for so you can go to that next level. That's the second reason why you should start celebrating and really blessing everyone else's successes. The third reason, which is a more spiritual reason, but it's a reason that is also scientific. And let me start with the law of physics that says for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. So for example, if you throw a pebble into a lake, into a river, that pebble, the weight of that pebble is having a reaction, and that's why you see the ripple effects. This also goes in accordance with this spiritual law of what you reap, you sow, right? I think I said it right. Yeah, what you reap is what you sow, right? And this also goes in alignment with one of the biggest spiritual laws of the law of cause and effect. And in other spiritual practices, they call it the law of karma. This is not to be afraid or anything like that, but it is for you to realize what you put out there, what you give, that energy that you give, you will end up receiving. Maybe not immediately, but later on, right? So if you are a super successful person, or if you're achieving a lot, how would you want other people to respond to your success and achievement? Would you want them to be jealous and envious of what you have achieved in your journey, or would you want them to celebrate you and be genuinely happy for you? So if you want those people to be happy for you and bless your accomplishments and celebrate you because you have demonstrated them what's possible for them, wouldn't you also want to show up that way? Wouldn't you want to treat other people the way you want them to treat you when you're actually achieving those accomplishments? Sometimes it is tricky. Sometimes it is tricky to really genuinely immediately celebrate with other people, but that's what this podcast episode is about. It's about practicing it. You're not gonna be perfect the first time, okay? But that's where kindness and compassion and surrender goes. When you notice yourself feeling that ick of like envy or jealousy, remember, you can show up like you want other people to show up like you, and just bless and celebrate with other people, because the more people you find that genuinely want to celebrate for you, the better you feel. You know, giving, we are social beings, and every time we volunteer, every time we give, it feels good, right? Like we are beings that we like to celebrate naturally. And at the same time, we are in this society where everything is about the next shiny object. And we gotta take a step back and really reconnect with ourselves and realize we are in this together. We are not competition. We are not opposite of each other. We are in this together. And a society that is in this together, that we share the same resources, the same water, the same nature, the same so many times communities or support system. Why wouldn't we uplift this society, this huge community that is called Earth and it's called the human life, in order for us to also like go up with this energy uplifting everyone else? The more you uplift people, the more uplifted you feel. And the more you uplift other people, the more those people are gonna give back to you, and they're wanting to naturally uplift you. So remember to give what you want to receive. And as I mentioned, giving blessings to others' accomplishments can feel incredibly satisfying and fulfilling. It allows you to also focus on the positive aspects of lives, and it raises our own vibrations to attract more positivity in our lives. What we focus on, we receive. What we focus on, we experience. We focus on scarcity. We focus on feeling, even recognizing all of the things we don't have yet, then we start seeing those things. So when you shift from this mindset of scarcity to abundance, and you start blessing other people and feeling so good that you're doing this, because it feels freeing to know that you're not focusing on the limitations, but instead you're focusing on the possibilities. That's what life is about. It's about for you to focus on what you want, for you to focus on the possibilities, and for you to harness this mindset of abundance. So those were the 3 reasons why you should bless others' accomplishments. It shifts your mindset from scarcity to abundance. It demonstrates that it's also possible for you, and that person can be open to a possible collaboration, or that you can learn from their journey. And also the 3rd reason is because the law of cause and effect. You put envy, jealousy out there, and you don't course correct yourself, then naturally you're gonna receive that, because what you reap, you sow. I hope this helps you so much to start blessing others' accomplishments and start living your own truth. Because let's be honest, when we feel that jealousy and envy, we don't feel good with ourselves. We feel that something is missing, and then we feel guilt that we were feeling that jealousy and envy. So again, when you feel it, be kind, compassionate towards yourself. As a human being, you're doing the best you can with the resources you have. And once you have that acceptance and that surrender, then shift your mindset and actually celebrate that person. This has been a huge shift for me in the last few years, and it has been incredible in terms of how much more fulfillment and happiness I find in other people's successes. I can totally feel it has opened my heart chakra, my heart center, to be able to recognize that we are all interconnected, and that if someone goes up, we go up with that person. So I hope you enjoyed this podcast episode, and if you found it helpful, please share it with your friends and family, because I'm in this movement, I'm in this commitment to start supporting more each other in community, right? To start uplifting each other more and more, and to become more empowered within ourselves to do that. I hope you have an amazing week, and I'll see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for listening at With Clarity and Purpose. I really hope you enjoyed today's episode. Sharing is caring. Please share with your friends and family so we can continue building an empowered community together. I'll see you next week.